All right, how's it going, everyone? Gamma Fighter here, coming at you with another Sylvaneth video, going over another set of sample army lists that I came up with for you guys to critique or think about, try out on Tabletop Simulator, give your feedback, stuff like that. So I'm just going to be doing two lists this time because last time the video actually went a bit longer than I wanted to, doing like 3.5 lists, and I didn't even go into every detail that I wanted to. So hopefully we'll be able to go a little more in depth on this one. So at first, a disclaimer though, I didn't test these. This is theory crafting, and this whole channel has been just trying to figure out how we would want to play Sylvaneth in 4th edition. So I don't have it all figured out. This is all part of the process of figuring it out. But each of these lists is going to have a theme, a core of an idea of what I'm trying to do with it. And I'm just going to do my best to make it viable as strong as I can, just overall combat power and scoring ability and that kind of thing. I'm going to tell you how strong I think that the lists are, but keep in mind I'm not a pro player. This is just for fun, and so like this isn't like a professional hobby, anyways, where you're going to make a living playing Age of Sigmar. So don't go out and buy a list based on this video for sure. I'm literally just a guy on YouTube. So yeah, my advice is just collect and paint what you want to, and the models that you like, and then when you're ready to play for fun. Don't worry about the competitive edge, or else you probably have more knowledge. If you're a competitive player already, you probably know more than me by already. So this first list is going to be based on wards, as we see the name here. 1950 points. We're in the Lords of the Clan, and the idea here is we're going to have wards from the Lady of Vines and the Warsong Revenant, trying to keep everything alive. Really tough, durable units like Spirited Earthu and the Tree Lord. Kurnoth Hunters themselves are durable as well. So be a more defensive and durable kind of unit. And I'm pretty excited about this one because this is kind of the playstyle I want to try out. And this might be the list that I would go for. The flexible piece here is the Kurnoth Hunters with Great Bows, where you might be able to switch this out for something else. For example, you might even switch this out for dryads, like 2 units of dryads. If you want to just tar pit some stuff, you could switch it out for Revenant Seekers even to get a better rally and heal your Dirthu and Tree Lord up more. Or you could use the Spite Rider Lancers to do a little bit more mobility. So the core power is coming from the Great Swords in the Spirited Dirthu. We've got scoring from the Gossamed Archers and the Tree Revenants, and then Dirthu and the Tree Lord are really durable with support from Lady of Vines and the Warsong Revenant. So getting into kind of the details here, it's a really defensive and durable game plan where you're going to try and set up your Awakened Wildwoods in really key strategic places that you can castle up and defend and protect while trying to capture as many points as you can, like objectives, and just be really defensive all around while the Kurnoth Hunters just destroy everything. Then for the Honor Guard, for the GHB rules, the only option we have is the Kurnoth Hunters with Great Swords. Most of the time, you're going to probably default to getting +1/+1 against the enemy general's regiment. But depending on the enemy army, sometimes that's not going to be the best. It's not going to be great. And then you would, if they're all infantry with good armor, then you might want to go for the anti-infantry rend ability. But most of the time, you're going to default to the priority target. It just depends on the enemy game plan. You're not going to do the body card with the great swords. They're really meant to go out and score you up. Well, score you points and wreck the enemy army. I went with the Morbid Conjuration for our manifestation lore. We've got 4 casts available to us, and so we across 2 different wizards. So we have quite a few casts, and we're gonna have some left over from just our lore and from the War Scroll spells. So you can use those extras to summon these powerful manifestations and also really up the damage potential of the Lady of Vines and the Warsong Revenant, because they generally don't really do a ton of damage otherwise. So we got 2 support wizards. Their job is to support the army, and yeah, that's about it for them. We've got 2 +1/+1 sources of ward. So what do I mean by that? 2 like solid sources. The Lady of Vines can give a 5-up ward and a 12-inch aura around her on a spell cast, and then the Warsong Revenant has a 6-up ward and 12 inches around him, and that's just automatic. So those are 2 like pretty big areas that can give wards to. And then the Kurnoth Hunters are the 1/1, where when they're on objectives, they give a 6-up ward to all allies, including themselves. So pretty heavy on the wards, as the name suggests. We've only got 2 true hammers here with the great swords and the Spirit of Durthu. You're mostly trying to outlast the opponent. And then, yeah, as they're trying to chew through your tough guys with wards and healing and stuff like that, your 2 hammers are able to do some work there. And we got 2 true anvils. The Tree Lord, the best role for the Tree Lord's probably as an anvil, and then the Spirit of Durthu is quote unquote true anvil. It's got the same defensive profile, but he's really meant to do damage. He costs quite a bit more, so he's not as efficient on durability as the Tree Lord. For the hero upgrades, I went with the Spell Singer on the Warsong Revenant to get that +1 to cast to be more reliable. We do have like the Purple Sun, which casts on an 8. We really want to get the Awakened Wildwoods out reliably, so getting +1 to cast that is good. And then for the seed for the artifact, I gave the Warsong Revenant the Seed of Rebirth, and that's because we really want to protect the Revenant. But if the enemy is able to take them out, then the Seed of Rebirth will give a chance for it to come back to life, and you know, that consistent 6-up ward is really powerful in such a durable army. The other option here is you could give the Tree Lord the Greenwood Gladius. Because the Tree Lord's damage isn't great, and it's mostly being defensive. But if you can get that extra chip damage from the Greenwood Gladius, then that can up its damage a little bit and help it to be more consistent on the damage front. And that's about it for the considerations there. We have, speaking of chip damage, we've got quite a lot of chip damage in the army between the 2 wizards that can cast some spells that do some chip damage, to the shooting from the Gossamed archers. Even the Kurnoth Great Bows have yeah, I'd really consider that chip damage when they're unreinforced. The Tree Lord and the Spirit of Durthu have some chip shooting as well. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways to chip the enemy down. As far as combos, we really only have the what I'd really consider a combo is the Lady of Vines and the Tree Lord. You know, just the not just the durability of the wards and everything like that, but also the Tree Lord has a rampage where the enemy gets -1 to wound with their rampage, and then the Lady of Vines has a rampage of giving the enemy -1 to hit. So those 2 combined are really powerful. And then the Lady of Vines offensively can give allies +1 to hit against an enemy with her rampage as well. And then that gives the Tree Lord going from hitting on 4s to hitting on 3s, which is a lot better. So yeah, weakness of the army is very low mobility. And you're really relying on the trees, the Awakened Wildwoods that you put down to be able to teleport around to make up for that lack of mobility. And that's kind of why I'm not sure how strong this is going to be, because I'm not sure how reliable and how useful and everything the basically the faction traits are going to be. But the reason I want to try this army is because it does seem like this is kind of how they envision you using the traits of the army. Stuff like Belthanos, you know, the Belthanos army, it feels like you're trying to just ignore the fit traits and just like go out and run and charge at everything. Whereas this one, I feel like is the opposite, where you're really relying on the Wildwoods. But then that's another weakness too, is that you are going to feel really tied to the Wildwoods with this list. So like I said, I think I want to try this one as sort of my favorite play style and way I want to play. And I just like the Lady of Vines and the Spirit of Durthu, but I don't think this is a particularly strong competitive list. I don't think it's necessarily going to be the best and most competitive way to play. All right, next we have the big Alariel. And so we got, even in the picture here, we've got big Alariel with 2 little Spirit of Durthus. Oh, they're going to help her out. They're her little buddies. So anyway, the idea behind this list is we've got Alariel, and we've got a couple of big guys and just really powerful targets for her to bring back to life with her ability. And so on average, you're going to have about 4 chances to use Alariel's recursion ability. And we've got 4 really, really good targets here. If any of these get brought back, then your opponent is going to be pretty disappointed. So, you know, Alariel leading the way as the general, and we've got the Spite Rider Lancers reinforced here to give the army some kind of mobility. Because other than that, we've got Spirited Durthu, who's not super fast. I did give him Warsinger to help out with that a little bit. And then I also gave him the Seed of Rebirth artifact. And that's basically because it's more recursion. So yeah, it's uh pretty great. Uh yeah. So just more annoyance is really what it is. So then we've got the points package here again, which I pretty much put in every list. Gossamet Archers and Tree Revenants just to score points for you, victory points, and then another Spirited Durthu. So some considerations. The idea here is just the value of it. The Spirit of Durthu is very durable and very efficient on damage and durability too. More so on damage, but so it's good value there. And then, like I said, if you're able to get any of these units back to life, then it is a lot. It's a big power swing. So you're basically resummoning, upwards of 600 points of value each turn on average. As for the Honor Guard plan, once again, it's going to probably be the +1 to hit and +1 to wound, but depending on your opponent's army, you aren't going to want to do the bodyguard one here. And unless the opponent's army is like, once again, all infantry or all cavalry or something like that. And actually, I don't know, do you guys know if the Spite Rider Lancers have anti-cavalry? So if you give them the anti-cavalry from the GHB rules, the honor guard stuff, does that stack or do those not stack? It was really unclear to me from the rules, but maybe I was looking in the wrong place. For the Manifestation Lord, we've got the Cron Spine. We've got 3 casts with Ariel. She can give herself +1 to cast. So I think it's a pretty good value, just using one of the casts each turn to attempt to bring out that Cron Spine. And once again, that's big value. You can bring that back every turn that it gets destroyed. Really powerful. Yep, just the one wizard. We don't have access to ward in this like at all. So you're not going to be as durable in this army as the last one. But the idea is that recursion makes up for that. We've got 3 true hammers, the Lancers and the Spirit of Durthu. So this is I feel like it's a bit more offensively powerful than the previous one, while retaining that defensiveness with the recursion as a proxy for durability, really. We've got 3 quote unquote true anvils. Once again, I don't usually, when I'm building a list, I don't think of the Spirit of Durthu as being an anvil. Primarily, the role I want to use him in is going out and dealing damage, but he does have a really good defensive profile. It's hard to deny, plus a lot of healing here. And if I didn't mention it, we are in Lords of the Clan, so the Spirit of Durthus will heal. Alariel can heal as well, but her base is larger than 6 inches, so she will have to be on the roots of the tree to heal. But actually, I did watch a video with AOS coach and a really good Sylvaneth player, and he was saying that you can use strike and fade, or not strike and fade. You can use power through as like a second type of strike and fade. And Alariel's got like a 14-inch, I think, flying movement with power through. You can get really, really far away, like strike and fade on the way. And then you can end with with her base on the roots of the tree so that you're wholly within 6 inches and get that 3 healing for 3, which is really good. For the hero upgrades, we can only put them on Spirit of Durthu here, so I decided to load them up on the one. Gave one Warsinger and Seed of Rebirth. Once again, the Warsinger just giving more mobility, and then the Seed of Rebirth just being more annoying when it does go off. Chip damage, yeah, I left this in from the previous one. I didn't mean to include that on there. I copy and pasted it, so yeah. And combos, there's not really combos. It's just the value combo of Alariel bringing back really high value targets. Big weakness is we have a really low unit count in this army. So we are not going to be able to be everywhere at once on the board, and it's going to limit the kind of battle tactics that are going to be viable and our positioning options. Also, big weakness, the biggest weakness of all, is there are no Kurnoth Hunters with great swords here, which is, of course, terrible. F rating on this army. It's terrible and can't possibly win. But literally, sorry, seriously, I think this is more of a fun list. I think it does have potential, but I don't think this is good. I think this is a list you could start with and then you could tweak it, and it could end up really powerful. Like, obviously, you could find a way to fit Belphanos in here, and it could be more powerful. That could be probably the better way to play it. It overcomes the mobility issue quite a bit. So I think this is probably a good starting place if you want to play around with it and try it out and then tweak it and figure out what's going to be actually the best and going to work. I'm not convinced that this is the best incarnation of this list. This is just the best one I can think of without actually playing it on the table. All right, so thanks for watching, everybody. That's it for this video. Let me know what you think about these different lists. Let me know if there's something that I'm missing or some obvious combo that I missed out on and didn't put in there, or let me know if it's your favorite and you want to try it out, or if you've played anything like it before. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate you if you made it this far to the end of the video. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.